Okay. Welcome, everyone, to Music Explained. We're joined by Hue Hinton, a Philadelphia artist and producer whose music lives somewhere between indie rock, dream pop, and raw emotions. Hugh, welcome to the show.
Hello, welcome, or thank you for having me. How's it going?
Doing well, doing well. It's great to have you on the show. And doing some research, it was kind of difficult, if I'm being honest, like pinpoint the exact genre that you play. It sounds
Mhm.
like over the course of your career, you kind of like transitioned between genres, starting in hip hop and then gravitating towards pop, now a little bit more alternative. If someone is listening to you for the first time, like how would you describe yourself, your music that you make?
Yeah. So you definitely got a good kind of summarization of kind of where the journey started to where it's at. Um, I would say, let me start from the beginning though, before I even started releasing music.
Hmm.
So basically, I grew up playing classical piano and just taking lessons, playing recitals, competitions, and I never really got into composing and like writing or producing music until probably like middle to high school. And I took a music production. I made beats on GarageBand in my phone in like sixth grade, and I would show my mom, and I would just love making like the most bass I could possibly make. I was obsessed with like bass. And GarageBand had this 808 that just it was like the fattest bass. I remember like making this beat and it was like bass and a snare, and I thought it was the coolest thing. So I showed my mom in the car, and it was just like it almost blew out the speakers because I turned up the bass all the way, and she was like, "What? What is what is this we're listening to?" It's like I made it. I made it. But yeah, that's like earliest uh, producing and writing that I think I can trace. But in high school, I took a music production class and we got into Logic Pro, if you're familiar.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was making beats on that, just getting a little bit more aware, but it wasn't I was making like hip hop, EDM, R&B, just anything that sounded good that was electronic. And I would like my friends in high school, they would come over and like sing or freestyle rap over the beats that I made in this class and like outside of class. And we ended up like recording some of it or recording some of them and putting it on like SoundCloud. And that was like a fun little experiment. But fast forward to college, I started writing music and got a little bit more serious about it overall. And I was still making beats and Logic. And I was transitioning into writing songs on piano with like vocals, just piano and vocals, and then trying to put them into Logic while also using like that kind of hip hop R&B like production that I had been doing. So I'd use samples, drum samples, sometimes like melody samples, but I was kind of veering like just transitioning into songwriting a little bit more, like very, very simple. Just one instrument, my voice. And um, I finally felt comfortable enough to release one on Spotify, Apple Music, and like all those platforms um, called Satellite. And that was like kind of like a mix of like pop, hip hop, a little R&B in there too. And that, yeah, that's my first release under Hue Hinton. But over the course of that next year, I was always making new stuff kind of along those lines, like that pop, hip hop, R&B kind
Hmm.
of sound. And I was hanging out and performing with went away when I put my
That was really random.
but we had this collective, some of my friends and I, it was called Philly Creators. And I don't know if you're familiar, if you
Yeah,
heard of
yeah.
them.
It's started at Drexel, right?
Started Drexel. Well,
Yeah.
it was a mix of Drexel students and non-Drexel students, but it was mainly like hip hop, R&B. I
Mm,
think there was some pop artists in it too, like strictly pop.
yeah.
But yeah, we would throw these pop-up concerts outside the art museum during COVID, or like a little bit after COVID, before concerts were fully back. And we just do these like unsolicited pop-up concerts with Martin. Do you know
Yeah.
Marty Houston?
Yeah.
He would DJ and like set all
Ostrovsky?
the equipment up, and
Yeah.
he would also perform too, like his own original stuff. But we had this whole collective performing in front of the art museum for months and months until we got shut down by the police because it was no permits or anything. We were just street performing at that point. But it was a lot of fun, and like new people would come every time we did one. But there was like the core group that stayed together. And then fast forward like a few months after it got shut down, we were asked to open for Flo Rida, like randomly. It was a Drexel Dragonfly concert, and
Okay.
one of the people that was involved in like administering Philly creators and like the social media, Cami, she was a part of the team that ran the concert, and they were looking for like student support. So we just got a bunch of the Philly creator people to open for Flo Rida. And yeah, that was a crazy experience doing like street performing right to like that kind of stage. I was like,
Yeah.
cool, this is, but yeah, I would say like after that, I'm still gonna stay on track with this journey, the story of it. But after that, I got more into the Philly like indie and DIY scene. I started playing with a band, still playing the songs that I wrote kind of more along that pop, R&B, hip hop feel. But because I was playing with the band, it started to feel more of kind of like rock forward, if that makes sense. And we were just playing like house shows, small venue shows, all around Philly, some parts of Jersey. And all while we were doing this, I was writing new music and kind of catering it a little bit more into that indie dream poppy vibe. And then I wrote Bittersweet in 2023, and that kind of shifted the direction. I just saw this, or I heard the sound. I was like, this sounds really good to me. I want to keep making more stuff like this and really try to hone in on this sound.
Mhm.
So for all of 2023, 2024, I really tried to hone in on that, just through writing and producing at home, and also while playing with the band. 2025 comes along, and trying to think. I got offered a record, or technically a distribution deal from this small label, and that was the end of 2024 going into 2025, and they wanted to pretty much not buy but license all of my pre-existing catalog, and then a new 9 songs, like where I had to come to them with fully complete songs, and the deal was absolute dog shit. It was like a few $1,000s for them administering my catalog and
Yeah.
marketing. Um,
How long
Now
was the agreement?
it was, I think it was 9 to 12 months to deliver them the 9 new songs. So I was thinking about it, and um, I don't know. I decided that it wasn't. I feel like I shouldn't sign the first deal that I'm offered. It seemed really cool at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
all this hard work that I've been putting in for years is starting to pay off. But it came with kind of like the drawback of exclusivity to the label. Like I had been releasing independently for years, and now I have to like get my music approved to get released. And I feel like I haven't even like begun to like spring in or blossom into the artist that I'm supposed to be. And I'm still blossoming,
Yeah.
still figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
But it yeah, it put things in perspective where I was like, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to really hone in on my writing and try to write a lot more than I'm used to writing and just get really, really good at songwriting for this next 9 months. So I'm going to I'm not going to go through with the deal, but I'm going to treat these next 9 months like I am making an album for a record label. And fast forward 9 months later, I wrote like 30 to 40 songs. Only like 10 of them got recorded, and 5 of them were released on the Starfish EP, which came out this January.
Yeah.
But my drummer, Mark, has a bunch of nice recording equipment that he just brought to my house, and we just record the whole thing from home. And yeah, it took it took almost a year to really write, record, produce, get mixed and mastered, and then finally get ready for release. But yeah, it took a little over a year, and now we're here. Now I'm in the Starfish era. That is the current state of my journey. But that is
Nice.
yeah. Sorry, I kind of went on a long story, but that's probably the off the top of my head best I can explain the journey.
That's very in depth, I'll say, and quite the journey from start to where you are now. And it's only going to get longer, I would imagine. You're nowhere near the finish line. You basically are just beginning, even though you started in basically sixth grade.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I always feel like I'm beginning.
Your recent album, Starfish, you mentioned that you wrote 40 songs. We only recorded 10, and then the EP is only about 5. Was there a reason why it was only 5, and not the 10, or why did you exclude um, other songs that you've written before?
Yeah, so I would say number one reason for that is time. I had to coordinate. Well, one, I want to get music out. I felt like I want to get a project out and not just singles like I had been doing. And I had this vision for a project that I'd been writing a lot of these songs kind of about just getting back on your feet when you get hit, or I don't know, like life will throw shit at you. And it's only human nature to be resilient. It's, I think it's one of the most beautiful things of the human complex is the ability to be resilient. And if you know about a starfish, when it loses legs, they just regenerate. Also, Starfish has 5 legs, 5 songs on the project. Bunch of little hidden meanings in there. Um, yeah, I think it's. I graduated college in 2023, and I was working at a restaurant. I didn't really want to get any sort of like full time, like 9 to 5. If that makes sense. I just wanted to work and progress in my music, but I still needed to pay bills, so I worked at a restaurant, and then I don't know. I started teaching music, so I have 2 jobs right now. I teach music and I still work at the restaurant and then do all of my freelance stuff outside of those jobs. And I think since that post-college period, I've been writing a lot about just basically this yearning for direction. Like I feel like I don't know where I'm going, and I don't that's okay though. Like a lot of people don't know what they want to do, where they want to go in life, and part of life is just figuring that out through doing things. And there's not really a solid overnight answer that you're going to get, but because of that, you're kind of it does feel like a long waiting period, and I'm still currently in that, but it's I don't know, there's been a lot of hardships with like financially with these jobs and trying to stay on my feet while also pursue a creative passion, and just being able to get through the things I need to survive. Like I need to work these jobs to pay bills, to put food on the table, and then being able to really actively pursue something that I feel like gives me fulfillment. It can be hard and tiring, and I feel like I'm watching some of my friends get full-time daytime jobs, or corporate whatever, and I don't know, I feel like I'm trying to catch up in my own way, but that's like another theme is like I'm trying to catch up in a fast moving world, and it's just the world doesn't stop for you. You need to keep going. And that ties back into the whole resilience aspect of this project. And that was a huge part of my writing process in terms of like lyrics, like chord progressions, melodies, just that kind of yearning for direction and being able to get through the punches. And,
Hmm.
it tugs at your soul, get this feeling in your chest when you do feel excited about pursuing something and you really feel like you're making progress and finding that direction. So there's ups and downs to the project, but
Yeah.
back to what I was originally saying, it's only 5 songs, and back to the whole time is, like, a big issue. My drummer also works a separate job outside of pursuing this music, so just finding the time alone in a year, we were only able to record 10 songs. Yeah, I would have recorded more songs if I didn't have the other jobs. We're still recording, though, but it's just new stuff now, and, yeah, just trying to find that time to really dedicate to this because I didn't wanna rush it, but I also wanted to get it out, and I think the threshold I ended up meeting myself at was a year to get this project out, and I I got to my goal. Although it's only 5 songs, I felt like it only needed to be 5 songs. The other songs didn't fit in the project as much, and the rest of them that didn't even get recorded were either not good enough to get recorded or, like, they were just meant to be kinda like exercises just to help me get better at songwriting. So, that's why it led to just 5 songs.
That makes a lot of sense. The way that you painted it. I didn't realize that Starfish it's only 5 legs, and then the song being 5 songs, and then the story you're trying to tell the audience, listeners about being resilient, pushing through, going through struggles, paints that story. And I got that listening to the songs as well. So it is a great EP, and kudos to you for going through the process, it taking a whole entire year to finish everything. How did you find the time? Because it sounds like you are very, very busy juggling 2 jobs, still putting in the effort to create the project as well. How do you find the time to get it done?
Late nights was a huge thing. I was gonna say I tend to get a lot of creative energy in the nighttime. I think my mind is already warmed up from the day, and I feel like I can process my emotions a little bit better at nighttime. So, I already have a habit of doing creative work at nighttime, but some nights are just longer than others. Like, some nights I'll stay up till, like, 3, 4 in the morning and then have to be up the next day to go to the lunch shift at the restaurant. But honestly, like, I feel like I found a pretty good balance in my schedule with my jobs right now, and also I do like, the restaurant job, it's only 2 days a week. The teaching is 4 days a week, uh, so there are gaps throughout the week, and then Saturday, I do have, like, a big chunk of the day to just focus solely on my freelance work,
Mhm.
but a lot of it like, staying consistent with it and trying to do it every day comes with, like, getting back from a day where I work at the restaurant in the morning, teaching in the evening, and then being able to just go back to work and either practice, start writing, or if it's a recording night, like, we'll do recording, as long as it's not past the hours that my roommates need to go to bed, because it does pretty loud if we're recording drums, but, yeah, I would say almost every night, if not every night, I am downstairs in my basement practicing, writing, or producing music, but yeah, that it it takes time. It takes uh, my goal is, though, if I can get to a point where I can really do it full time, I could
Yeah.
spend all day, every day, and get, like, multiple projects out a year,
Mhm.
but my goal also this year, even with my jobs, is, like, outside of the music, is to get another EP out before the end of the year, and then also tour, but was I gonna say? Little emotional support Starfish. My
That is
girlfriend,
awesome.
she found it. I don't know where she found it, but she just gave it to me one day. Hold it close to the heart.
Yeah. Wow. You said your girlfriend gave you that?
Yes.
Wow. Shout out to the girlfriend. That's an awesome
Shout
gift.
out Paige. She's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. I do want to talk about, I would say, one of the top tracks in the album, I Crashed Your Car. The song sounds like it really connects with the audience. What do you think listeners are hearing in that track that makes it hit differently? It seems like a big draw. Everyone's gravitating towards it. What do you feel about the track? It seems like you put a lot of like your soul into it.
I'll tell a story first though. So this song was inspired when I crashed a car. It wasn't my car, it was coincidentally my girlfriend's car. Um, but basically we were supposed to go to New York probably like a year or like 8 months to a year before I wrote this song. We were living in Philly and we had a bus scheduled at like noon. I lived at a different house than my girlfriend and we were kind of in a time crunch and I needed to go get my stuff ready for New York. So she was like, just use my car, like, but be quick. So I was like, okay. Was really quick, got all my stuff, and then I was like, I'm gonna get her a cake pop from Starbucks. Crazy enough. So I'm parked at this Starbucks and I get the cake pop. I'm pulling out. Next thing I know, the car going down the road. I thought it was stopping for me. So I kept turning onto the road, didn't stop. It rammed into the car I was driving and it kind of dominoed into another car. Those cars were fine with, like, fender benders, but my girlfriend's car was totaled, because it got squished so hard. I was fine, I was all good from this, but the car was not, and in this accident, the third party guy who got hit, he was being an asshole. He was like, "You did not need to pull out of the spot that fast," and I was pulling out pretty slowly. I mean, it's a one-lane road, and she looked like she was slowing down, so I pulled out, and then he started asking me personal questions. He's like, "How old are you?" And I was like, 20, 23, and he's like, "You need to get your shit together." And I was like, "What?"
What? Yeah.
Just I think he was mad because his insurance probably went up,
Uh,
and he wanted to blame it on the young person in the accident,
yeah.
which it makes sense, but he started coming at me, like, personally, and I was like, "Damn, what am I doing?" So I started getting all existential, and that actually ended up although I shouldn't have taken it personally, I kinda took it personally, and I was like, "What am I doing with my life?" Like, I feel like I need to get my shit together,
Mhm.
and, yeah, I started teaching music just to pick up an extra income, and, it also I had to learn everything that my students learn, so I get better through practicing these songs, just at whatever instrument I'm teaching, and then, I was gonna say, so that kinda led to, like, a shift in my life. I came home, like, fast forward to when I wrote the song, I came home from, like, a long double day where it was restaurant in the morning and afternoon, teaching in the evening, it was, like, a long 10 to 12-hour day, and I just remember, like, feeling so drained, like, emotionally and physically, but I wanted to write down, like, these feelings to try and get them out so they weren't held in, and I missed my girlfriend and I was like thinking about the whole car incident. Like I started getting flashbacks to that. And I was like, I'm gonna write a song about today and how I just missed my girlfriend. But yeah, the song, like, it's pretty literal. It's like you thought today would never end. Well, it's done. So come over. And like I wish you would come over. Um, and just kind of ease that stress that the long kind of pulling day takes away from you.
Mhm.
And that's really where the song came from. It came from one of those long, long days, and I don't know, I pulled direct inspiration from the whole crash of the car because it really shifted my life into, I gotta get my shit together. I have to work more to make more money. And then fast forward after doing, like, 2 jobs for several months, I was just getting drained, and that really inspired the song. But I think when you listen to it, it's not just the lyrics, it's the music too. Like, it pulls at your emotions. It's a hard hitting, like it really you feel it in your chest. It's like, like like it would, you just want to take a deep breath, and but then the hard hitting guitar comes in with that huge backline. It's like,
Yeah.
da, na, 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 and it's like, oh, just want to like stop
Yes.
and I just want to be out of this. I just want to be out of all this stress. Just release me from this. Let me
Mhm.
escape. And I think that's something that was so strongly intentionalized when I was writing the song, but it wasn't even like it was subconscious. It had been subconscious for months and months. And it just kind of exploded. It came out when I was writing this song. And I also want to give a shout out to not only Mark, my drummer, who did the drums, but
Mhm.
also my guitarist who plays live with me, Jack Finelli. We wrote that riff together, but it was mainly him, like the da 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 da.
Mm.
That lead guitar riff. He came over to put some guitar on it, on the song that I'd already wrote, but he kind of added, like he came with that idea, and then we
Yeah.
kind of tweaked it up together. I want to give him a shout out, and then also the guy who plays keyboard for me, Dominic Diodesio. He put keys on that track. But yeah, back to the sorry, I got sidetracked.
You're good.
Yeah, they're so incredibly talented. I want to shout them out. Um, but yeah, I think it really people can resonate based on something that feels real to them. And I think because I've experienced these long taxing days and was really able to channel that feeling of just wanting to escape from it all, I think it came out so organically, and we were able to put it down so organically into this recording that it has the ability to resonate with people who might be experiencing similar things in their lives.
Yeah. Man, that is quite the story, I'll say. I did not expect
It's a long
the
story.
story.
It's a long story. I'm sorry to
Uh
talk too much, by the way. I feel like I tend to elaborate on things that
no,
mm,
no, no, that's good. I think elaboration on like stuff like this of like why you make certain songs only gives listeners like a deeper insight in terms of like who you are and like what you go through and like how you fit it, like have the end product, that being the song. So I think the deeper you go, it only helps people make sense of like, wait, what was Hugh thinking in this moment? Now they may know, which is great. Was your girlfriend upset that you crashed your car? And then did the cake pop help or not?
she was I think she was I think she was upset, yes. This car held strong sentimental value to her. It was like the car that she had driven in high school. Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. The cake pop did ease the burden, I could say that much.
Okay,
I think she was happy that I was okay and I wasn't hurt either, but I was also worried because it was her dad's car. So I was worried he was gonna be upset, but he ended up being so nice and supportive, and shout
that's
out
good.
Mr. D. Um, I'm still sorry. I am still very sorry. I still feel shame about that whole thing, but I think my intentions were right when I was going to Starbucks. Uh, yeah. Feels so funny telling this story to people. I'm just like, what was I doing?
Oh man, that's awesome. Did you feel like when you were writing the song and making it, recording everything, did you feel like it was like a turning point, the song, or is there another song that you could point to in your catalog that may have been like a defining turning point where, yes, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, make music, make it a career, and inspire others?
Yeah. Oh, I think this specific song, I crashed my car after completing it, like the recording as well. I definitely understood a lot more about my capabilities as a musician and artist. And I think it did shift my direction in terms of specifically what I want to make and kind of like a direction I can go for later in the future when I'm writing music or producing music. But kind of like this epic, this wide feeling just through the writing of the song alone. I think bittersweet the song I released in 2023. I remember the biggest shift that I've noticed so far in my career was after completing Bittersweet. Really, that gave me like a this fresh breath of air into the life of my career, and it helped me understand that I am an artist and, I want to help inspire people, like you were saying. But yeah, Crash Car is I think I've felt like a breakthrough in terms of maturity when I'm writing music. And it's not just about being like mature, writing more complex songs. It's more just like how can I take the song's arrangement as much as I can to build suspense and bring resolution back to it. How can I study this art form even more in the future and be able to connect my feelings to this music? But yeah, this one was a cool one to make, I would say. So yeah.
Oh man, that is beautiful. I'm glad. I'm glad that uh, it has that raw emotion as well to it. You've played a lot of shows throughout your career. Recently, you played at Okeechobee as well. Can you walk us through that experience, what it felt like, and how it came to be, uh, the opportunity?
One shout out Okeechobee. That was like one of the best weekends of my life. It was so cool. It's just magical down there the way they set it up and everything. But yeah, I'll start with how it came to be. So my friend had told me about a competition that this music festival in Florida was running, and the winner of the competition gets to perform at the festival. And I normally would pass this off and not I don't know, I think I feel pretty strongly that music is not or art in general is not something that should be competing with other art forms. It should just be one in itself. But he thought I had a good chance. Um, he was like, just submit a video of you performing and see where it goes. And I was like, you know what? It takes 5 minutes to do that. We had just released, or we just recorded our whole EP live at a release show we had the night after the Starfish came out. So we had a video recording and professional audio recording from this release party show that we did. So I figured the stars aligned, like this video got done right before we needed to submit a video for consideration. So my band and I submitted that one, and fast forward like a week later, we found out we were in the finalist round, which was there were 10 other artists or bands who all submitted videos of their own, and the festival posted all 10 of them and just did a popular vote, and the person with the most votes in the comments would win. And that's when it really kicked in like, holy crap, we might be able to perform at this festival.
Yeah.
We just have to, like, text everyone that we know and, like, post about it. I was texting, like, aunts that I haven't talked to in, like, years. My girlfriend, her family, like, they were all texting everyone, like, the band, their families, friends, supporters. I posted on my TikTok, like, 3 times. I don't even know. It was a lot to get that many votes, but we ended up getting the most votes and we won the competition. Shout out to my support system and everyone that helped us win this. If you are watching, you don't know how much of an impact and how grateful I am that this opportunity was given to us. Yeah, it was after that we got kind of limited info on the performance. It was 2 weeks before the actual performance when we found out we won, or maybe like 3 weeks. We had to plan a whole trip down to Florida, plan camping, because they gave us like a pass to camp at the festival.
Mhm.
So we planned all these things, and that was pretty stressful. But once we made it down and finally got checked in, it was like one of the best times of my life. I have never been to a music festival with camping, so I can't speak too much on like other ones, but Okeechobee was so incredible. Just the atmosphere, the people, like everyone was so nice. And like in Philadelphia, it's not the same. Like you're not gonna walk up to someone random on the street and ask them for directions. 50-50 chance they're nice, but, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
It was just
Philly.
a completely different experience. And then the festival, like, our performance, it was so cool. I think it's the biggest stage my band and I have ever played on,
Hmm.
which was awesome because the music sounded really good, from our perspective, and also just, like, being on the same bill as, like, some of these huge name artists, like LCD Sound System, T-Pain, Grizz, The Lumineers, and a bunch more, like Freddie Gibbs. We were backstage for Freddie Gibbs. That was so, so cool.
You get a chance to
Um,
meet him?
I did not. He walked right past me right before he went on, so I wasn't gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Mr. Gibbs." I wanted to meet him, but he was locked in, and then after, like, we ended up leaving backstage area just to go experience it from the crowd. Didn't end up getting to meet him, but yeah, back to, like, that whole like, being on the same bill as all these amazing artists, I think it was like a special feeling. It was something that made me grateful of where I am at in my career.
Hmm.
Still feels like it's blossoming in its own way, but it's just another sign, like, I feel like I'm doing the right things, and I feel like it's gonna be okay, and it ties back like, it really makes me feel like Starfish is that much more real. I'm really realizing this project through just stuff like this that's happening in my real life, and it makes me appreciate the little things more too. Like, I don't know if like, when I have to go to the restaurant in the morning and the subway's late versus, like, if the subway's, like, there right on time as soon as I walk downstairs, like, I'm like, "Oh, like, that was I feel good, feel good." Don't get too stressed. Just, like, small things. But, yeah, it overall, it made me appreciate where I'm at, and it fueled me, like, a lot more. I'm going so hard this year and next year just to try and get as much creative output in a productive way that I can possible.
Hmm.
I guess really, really hone in on my artistry and try to keep inspiring others because we've gotten to this point so far, and if it seems inspiring from the outside, that makes me feel like I'm doing my job. So yeah, that's that's
And I'm sure you've heard it before, but it is expiring from the outside. It is. So keep doing what you're doing.
glad to
All of
hear.
us listening appreciate it.
Gonna make sure it gets even more intentional. The music will become just more real, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let it. But yeah. I love this job. Even though I'm not making, like, a full-time income, I love doing this.
Yeah. I think once you actually find your passion, then it doesn't become a job. You continue to do it because you love it.
Mhm.
The money will come with time. So as you continue to grow, you'll get more opportunities like Okeechobee, and more people will hear your music, more people will become fans of you, and more people will continue to share the music that you make. So within time, you just continue to grow. Just gotta keep doing you, and that's all. So I would say 5 years from now, I'm gonna go too far out, but 5 years, how do you want people to remember Hugh?
5 years from now, I
It's like where you want to be.
let me think about that in, like, a 5-second. Alright, I think I got it. I would say 5 years from now, well, 1, I want to be fully doing music as my everyday life. I don't have to work other part-time jobs to maintain income. I wanna do that because I can really dive into my artistry with more time,
Hmm.
and it goes back to my original goal, the goal that inspires others, the goal that inspires me of just being able to have the most raw, authentic music that resonates to your soul, and I wanna make more time for that. I just I need more time and income to do that, but I think right now the way I'm doing it works well, and it fuels my fire even more. So in 5 years, I just wanna make sure that well, 1, I wanna tour. I wanna tour the US, I wanna tour the world, and if 5 years goes by and I don't have at least 2 to 3 full-length albums out, I am not where I wanna be right now. So, I wanna make sure that I get as much out of my brain as I can. Um, in that time, while also being able to inspire others through putting it out or playing shows for people, just bringing that real, raw emotion to their lives to help them resonate with their feelings more. And then, I don't know, I think I want people to remember me as someone who's very passionate about what they do and someone who questions things for more than what they are, more than just the surface level. I want to understand people. I want to understand things. I want to understand concepts on a deeper level than just the surface. And I think a lot of that is just questioning myself, questioning others, looking things up online, just learning. And I want that to reflect in my music. It's a deeper understanding of life, and I want people to realize that and remember me for that. But at the same time, I want people to remember me as a person that liked to have a good time. I feel like I'm pretty monotone in regular life, just like regular conversation, but on stage and like I am a completely different person. I just energy, passion, and I just let it all out. And then also, I love to have fun with all my friends and just enjoy their company. Be remembered as someone who enjoys other people, and that's what I got off the top of my head.
Right. That is really, really good. Uh, Makes me definitely want to come see you live, which I will be. I think it's next Friday. I know that you have a show, April with the banjo.
Event, Joe, Sleep House.
Yeah. So I'll be seeing you soon. Looking forward to that show.
Yes.
Before I do let you go, we do have a closing tradition on the podcast.
Okay.
It's a two-part question. The first one being, what's the best advice that you were given that you typically recommend to other people? That could be in the music space or personal. And then what's the worst advice that you were given that you typically tell people to stay away from, especially maybe you went through it yourself and you realize like, God, that was terrible. I should never have done that.
Um, all right. Well, best advice that I can remember off the top of my head, and this might be a little bit more music related, but I guess it does kind of stay in line with the interview and what we talked about so far on the podcast.
Mhm.
In college, I was in this Mediterranean ensemble, which I was playing piano for, but we were playing like Brazilian jazz. We played stuff from Morocco, Algiers, just a lot of Mediterranean influenced music.
Yeah.
And the music director for this ensemble, I remember this one piece of advice he gave us right before we performed, and it was, as a performer, you are the truth teller. The audience is looking to you for truth. They won't know when you mess up, but you have to be truthful about your performance. And that kind of stuck with me. Like, I feel like as an artist who puts stuff into the world, I have a responsibility to be a truth teller. I have to really be honest with myself before the music can be honest with other people and resonate. And it's not just about performing live. I think I took it to heart in a bunch of different aspects of my life. But yeah, I think just being more honest in your everyday life with yourself, with other people, with your work, it can really, really lead to a more fulfilling life and how you feel better about yourself. Yeah, that's probably some of the best advice I've ever gotten. Some of the worst advice, think about this.
It's usually the tougher of the two questions, I'll say.
Be quiet. To be quiet. I'm trying to this one sound guy at a show, like, way back, he was telling our drummer to be quiet, but we were just playing really, really loud, and we don't it doesn't sound as good if we're, like, forcing the quietness when it's supposed to be loud, but I guess that ties into the kind of thing to the truth advice too. He was telling us to be quiet for his own engineering purposes, and he was saying, like, try to be quiet during the show. It made more sense for the show just because it was a small room and it gets really, really loud if we play full volume, but we're used to doing that in small rooms, and I think it's well, one, we kind of ignored him. We ended up playing loud, and it felt good. It felt really good. He didn't really wanna talk to us at all after I was like, "Thanks again for your help with doing sound," and he's just shrugged us off. I'm sure I have some really bad advice that I've been given in my life that I can't think of right now. Trying to think of, like, but you know what? This it was kind okay, this might sound stupid, but I think
Let me
it's
hear it.
important. But basically, I remember this one teacher who was super strict in, like, 2nd or 3rd grade, and I would always be she'd hand us worksheets to do for whatever subject it was, and I would always just be doodling in, like, the corner of the paper and not really get too much on the actual parts that we were supposed to answer. Um, and I remember she pulled me aside, like, mid-class, and I guess she was, like, grading these, like, just in real time during the lesson.
Mhm.
But she pulled me aside and she's like, "What is all this with, like, the doodles?" I was like I just kinda froze, and I was like, I don't know." And she's like, "You need to stop with all of this, you need to become more serious. Like, you're growing up, you're almost in 3rd." I think she was just hinting like I was almost in the next grade, and you need to be more serious about this. Like, stop fooling around. This might sound like stupid to not obey that advice, but I am a firm believer in enjoying yourself. I think having fun is a very, very important part of life. And that's such common logic, but I feel like a lot of people forget to have fun and just not take themselves too seriously. But I don't know. I think it's, everything in moderation.
Mhm.
Take yourself seriously in the things that you wanna take seriously. I did not wanna take 2nd grade, like, whatever, like, spelling. Did not wanna I feel fine spelling now, but I did not wanna take that seriously. I just wanted to let my hand move, and I don't know. I know that's not good for kids who are trying to get good grades, but I don't know, like, do what you want in life while also not, like, putting too much pressure on yourself, taking yourself too seriously. Try to relax and enjoy life, like, every once in a while, or it could be every day, it should be every day that you're able to enjoy life, and I think that's an important part of just being a more balanced human being, you know? Like, it's really, really hard to see progress and also fulfillment when you're constantly stressed about the next thing. So I think it's important to just take a step back and not take yourself too seriously. That was a huge stretch from the story of the teacher telling me to start taking this more seriously, but I don't know, I remember that sitting with me and being like, "I do need to get more serious," and then same exact thing with the guy who I got into the crash with, who was like, "You need to get your shit together."
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm cursing on this, by the way, but
You're good. Yeah.
yeah, that sorry if that's a stretch if that's a stretch, but
No,
I feel
no,
like
it
it's
was a good
important that I
story.
mention I feel like it's important that I mention that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is all I got though.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, thank you for joining the show. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you. Looking forward to seeing you live in a couple of weeks. I'm sure it'll be a phenomenal show. Before I let you go, where can uh, people listening find you? Listen to your music.
Yeah, you can find me anywhere on the internet if you just look up my name. But if you get more specific, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. My website has just an entire playthrough of Starfish, YouTube, all over YouTube. Also, we just released a live version of I Crashed My Car on YouTube. It's just in my YouTube. If you just look up I Crashed My Car, Hue Hinton, it should like the live version should come up. And also live. You can hear us April 10th at The Grape and Maniac.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining the show.
And thank you for having me. Your questions are awesome. They really pulled stuff out of me that I didn't know was in there.
I'm glad. Thank you. Talk
I'm
soon.
looking forward to meeting you on Next Friday. See
Yeah,
ya.
same here.
All right. Have a good one.